Greetings. I am Sri Master Gano Grills for Galighticus, and today we're going to take a very thorough look at a wonderful new product called Galighticus Ancestor Money. We're going to take a very detailed look at what each and every single one of our 14 notes do in our particular line. There are wonderful benefits that can come by utilizing this modality every single day in the life of your ancestors, and the blessings will come back to you many times fold. Stay tuned. When was the last time you have sent any type of offering of financial support or any kind of supplication to your ancestors? A lot of people are not aware that ancestral drainage is the number one reason why many people in the world have financial challenges. But by using a product such as this, you can begin to remedy that particular opposition. We have thousands of testimonies from people all around the world who have used our amazing product. And today, I would like to give you a more thorough examination of exactly which each one does. We have 14 Galighticus Ancestor notes that are all trademarked, copywritten, and legally as well as spiritually protected by the gods who have given us their permission to utilize a small part of their energy from the wealth streams of the power points that they connect with all throughout the universe. These gods are gods of immense power. Gods are very misunderstood by many human beings on Earth and across the planet. But when you tap into their power, they can do things for you that you cannot do for yourself in 10 or sometimes up to 100 lifetimes. That is why it is so important for us to build a relationship with the gods of wealth. There are some people that have a very voluminous trepidation with fire. They also have a very inset in fear of burning the house down, and that is quite understandable. There are many different people who have actually died in past lives through fire or have been tortured or burned to death. This is a real construct that causes an imprint in the consciousness of the individual who has a fear of fire. Therefore, those people naturally gravitate towards a smaller, more manageable note. And we've created one to facilitate that particular need, which is the $7 billion note. Now, this particular note is something that you can burn just like this, and it creates the energy of supplication towards your ancestors. If you look on the cover of this particular note, it says, "To our ancestors known and unknown, thus say I, may the gods of wealth and fortune maintain thee continually." On the cover, you will see the Jade Emperor and an image of his particular dragon. The Jade Emperor is the chief deity of the Bank of Heaven. It is a mythology that every single world that has sentient beings also has a celestial bank account. For this particular world of Tira, Ardut, Gaia, or some people say Earth, it also has a celestial bank account. And every single dollar that comes to this world comes through the celestial bank account of the god Yuang, or the Jade Emperor himself. This is the second note within the line of Galighticus Ancestor Money. And this particular note is 4 quintillion. Now, this note specifically, it jumps back 10 generations to any of the lineages that receive it. What happens with the Galighticus Ancestor Money is that if you send the ancestor money to your lineages, the ancestors line up to receive the energy of it, which is why the denominations are quite large, because there are thousands of ancestors who need the assistance of the power that it provides within their lives. So this particular note was designed to bypass and go back to a little further back to where the ancestors who may not actually receive it, they can also get some of that power. So this particular one is $4 quintillion, which is a fairly large denomination. We're going to take a closer look at another one of our notes. And this particular note is the 8 octillion. And if you look at this note, it is dawned by one of the wealth gods of the world, paradise world, Vaikuntha. This is the divine parent of many people on the planet, and they don't even know about it. This is Mahalakshmi, and she creates wealth streams that are very specific in the realms of beauty and on other worlds. This particular note is backed by also the Bank of Heaven, and if you turn around, you will see Lord Vishnu on the ocean with his Nagas, which are his assistants. The energy of Lord Ganesha, Lord Vishnu, and Mahalakshmi are on this particular note. You will see the energy of diamonds, gold, and jewelry that are handsomely adorned. And part of the imagery of this particular note goes directly to the realm of wherever your ancestors are. We're going to take another look. This is called the Veda note. And it is a note that the god Lord Ganesha, who is the remover of obstacles, he has 100 names. This is one of his chief names, and it is Veda, which means to ignite the power of the full god, Lord Ganesha, who is a god of intelligence. It is also a main god in the Vedic pantheon. He is the son of Lord Shiva and Parvati, but Sri Mahalakshmi and Lord Vishnu have adopted him. And there's a very, very wonderful story that is synonymous with every life theme that we are all accustomed to. This particular note is interesting because it allows the user to have an elemental conjunction. It is a solidify the season's ritual sealer, which means that there are lots of you who are Wiccans. Some of you are Ifa priests. Some of you are African shamans. Whatever type of power system you are from, and if you're doing any type of ritual that happens throughout the winter solstice or the summer equinox, you will benefit by burning this particular note, and you can seal your ritual with the energy of the Rud Veda note. And we're very proud to bring that into existence for all people who are practitioners of any kind of magic, especially hypernatural magic. This is a note which is a fairly new addition to the line of Galighticus Ancestor money, and it's very, very specific. It has lots and lots of power. If you look here, you will see the blue Buddha, who is Vajraguru, and he also is a divine healer. There are many lineages that are in need of divine healing, even when they leave the body and go into the human afterlife. Sometimes when people go into some of these astral planes, they stay there for hundreds and thousands of years because they are still healing from the result of their death or a long debilitating disease, as lots of souls give themselves the permission to have, which in turn gives them the opportunity to close out their affairs with the living relatives of their lineages. This note also is known as the funerary note. It is a 791 decillion dinar, which has lots and lots of power. This is also backed by the Bank of Heaven, which belongs to a system of gods that are proprietary to Galighticus. Also, if you look on this particular note, you will see a very interesting version of the goddess known as Fortuna Prayanestina. And she also is a god of extreme wealth, fortune, luck, and beauty. She has also lent her energy to this particular note. If you look closely, you will see there are vaults here, private jets, mansions, gold blocks, as well as silver blocks. You have also a very sacred mantra that is on the back that you can look at in your mind and send the benefit and the blessing of that particular mantra directly to your ancestors. Anpu or Anubis, he is also the one that takes the energy of the dead onto their journey in the underworld or the Duat. Burning this note as an offering to Anubis or Vajraguru will also alert them to the need of your ancestors. If you read the front, it also says this is a transcension generation, afterlife support, ancestral liberation. Transition is a facility that lots of humans that do not have divine backing don't have the support of. We have resurrection, ascension, death, But transcension is something that all ancestors would like to have, and all of the newly dearly departed. So when it comes to this particular note, the best way to use its utility is when someone of your loved one, friends, or someone that you are acquainted with leaves this life and is a dearly departed. You can burn one of these for 7 days straight. It will help them to cross over into the next life, because crossing over into the next life takes a sufficient amount of energy. Instead of burning bodega candles and having candlelight vigils, this act of burning the decillion dinar is 2 million times more powerful than any vigil that you can do and any candle that you could burn. And the ancestors will be very, very happy that you have cared enough about their memory to distribute this to them. Our next note is a medium-sized note, as is the decillion dinar. And this one is also from the Bank of Heaven. And this is a very specific note that promotes karmic ratification. What does that mean? Karmic ratification is the erasure of negative karma. All humans who live on earth have a very fair degree of negative karma that needs to be ratified. This is a 48 quadrillion pound note. This has a very large degree of finances that you will send directly to your ancestors. And this is a medium-sized note, and I'd like to give you a demonstration of how to use it accurately. One of the things that you can do with these medium-sized notes, it's important to realize that there's a very interesting way. You take the note and you turn it to the east, which would be your right-hand side. You want to take the note and fold it towards you one time. You don't want to crease it hard. You want to crease it quite gently like this. Then you could fold it one more time by turning it to the east, folding it towards you one time. And then you want to take the ends of it and you will burn it right here on the bottom at a 45-degree angle, pointed backwards this way. By burning it this way, you are allowing the oxygen to travel upward and catch on fire easily. When you are done, you will take a receptacle, hopefully that's a little larger than this, and you will simply drop it inside of the receptacle. It will burn rather quickly, and it will create sometimes an orange, green, blue flame. But this is a confirmation that your ancestors have actually utilized the energy. Our next note that I would like to review is also donned by none other than the goddess of compassion herself. This particular note is an 844 duodecillion pound. If you look on the bottom, you will see the series of zeros that are associated with its particular wealth. It's really quite powerful. On this particular note, we also have the image of the Amitabha Buddha, which is known as the celestial Buddha of the Pure Lands. And he also creates infinite light. This also has an image of a beautiful lotus blossom that belongs to Kuan Yin. And by utilizing this particular note, you are also sending the divine offerings to the gods themselves. Yes, you may use this particular note as a divine offering to your divine parents or to the gods that you have a divine relationship with. You may also utilize this particular note if you would like to build a bridge or rapport, or you would like to have a boon from one of the gods in the particular universe. There is no better way to show the gods that you are capable of getting their attention. How else would you do that unless you have a very large denomination that you can get their attention? This particular note is actually one of my favorites out of the 14 notes that we have. And this is known as the golden gun. It's very, very powerful. And it is a 24 septillion pound, which is a staggeringly large denomination. If you look on the front, you will see the image of a gold key, which is actually a cosmic beacon. Some say an ankh. It actually bridges the gap between life and death. Here at Galighticus, we believe in ancestral worship because the ancestors hold the key to your tomorrows. They also are able to get into the places, the dreams, to make agreements with people that you would like to do business with. Or they actually can change the very circumstance of your limitation and your financial challenges and oppositions. This particular note also has the energy on the bottom, as you can see, of pure gold. It is built into the actual denomination. And if you look on the back, it also has the energy of silver. Silver and gold are two commodities that are very precious to the ancestors, and the gods also appreciate the adornment of its physical and celestial properties. If you look also on the right hand side, you will also see the heart weighing ceremony with none other than Tehuti, Amit, Anubis or Anpu, and Heru. It is their job to observe the weighing of the hearts of the dearly departed and the newly dead as they go into the gates of the Duat and stand before the gods and give a thorough account of their lives on earth. When you look at the gods of the Duat, they have a very specific job to do, and they have to measure and weigh the energy of the heart, which is the conglomeration and the sum total of your doings, thoughts, and actions right here on earth. By utilizing this particular product, you are sending the energy of that ceremony to your ancestors who may not have gotten it right the first time and who may have actually failed at this ceremony. The energy of this particular note goes directly to all of your ancestors who need assistance in that particular arena. And there also is a very specific word of power that adds to the diligence, persistence, and the connectivity of being able to reach all of the ancestors from your lineages that need its support. This note also is one of the larger medium notes, and it is one of the notes that I think is quite fabulous. I also want to give you another quick discourse on how to break it down so that it's not so ostentatious or it's not so intimidating. Again, you could take the note, turn it to the east, which would be your right hand side, and you're going to go to the top and fold it towards you one time. Don't crease it hard. You're going to turn it to the east once again. In truth, and I don't want to complicate things, it really doesn't matter what side you burn it from or how you burn it, as long as the fire consumes the energy of the note. However, as ritualistic practitioners who perform hypernatural magic, there is a very specific reason why we fold things the way that they do. You do not have to do any of this in order to utilize the product, but this is for people who have a very keen eye of detail and who are practitioners of any type of ritual or magical system. They will appreciate the very didactic instructions of turning it and burning it in a very specific manner. So you may also go from the top to the bottom and fold it one more time. Remember not to crease it hard. Then we're going to turn it one more time to the east, which would be your right hand side. And we are going to fold it. We're not going to crease it very hard. We're going to just press it lightly. We're going to get our particular container. This is very important to know. You want to burn the Galighticus ancestor money in a receptacle. We would actually prefer a broaster pan, which is aluminum, and it's not flammable. With the degree of heat that comes from these Galighticus ancestor money notes. If you have a large broaster pan or a kettle or a cauldron, that also will be a good facilitator in burning this. For now, we have this particular container. So we are going to hold the horse, that is where the soft fold is, and then we're going to take a lighter and we're going to light it. We're going to hold it 45 degrees back, and the flame will go upwards. And once the entire flame has consumed the right hand side of the Galighticus ancestor money, we're going to drop it softly inside of the container, as you see here. It will consume the energy of the edifice, and the burning of the Galighticus ancestor money ritual will be complete. Also on this particular note, which is also one of my favorites because there is on this note present, if you look, you will see the goddess Mut. You will also see the goddess Aset, or some say Isis. This particular note also has the spirit of Anpu, and we also honor him by putting Anej Her Ek Anpu. He also is one of the death gods, or the gods that assist all humans that die and cross over into the underworld. Some people have dreams of Anpu, and they ask me what that means. I say that it is an opportunity for you to gain his particular attention. And if you see him in your dreams, he actually may be preparing you and letting you know that it is time for your eventual departure here from Earth. It is not something that you should take lightly or ignore. By burning this particular note and the other notes that he happens to be upon, you can let him know that you're not really ready to go yet. Also, if you look on the back, you have the image of Anku Jab Seneb right next to the god Lord Thoth or Jehuti. We also have a very powerful proclamation on the back of the Anak Hao note, which means I am wealthy. This is something that the ancestors who you burn this particular note will say unto you. It will make them wealthy. It also says, thus thy name shall be written into the book of the eternal. It's a very powerful act of love that you can give to your ancestors, dearly departed, or friends of yours who are in a very precarious situation. Also on the back of this note, it says, to all ancestors known and unknown, may you arrive in the divine realms of the eternal. So this is a very powerful petition that also petitions for the gods to release any of the humans who are in the afterlife and elevate them to a higher condition and a higher station in life itself, in the human afterlife, which would be the divine worlds, and hopefully maybe one day in the divine eternal realms of existence, which is where the divine paradise worlds exist. Now, this particular note is also a fairly new addition in the Galighticus Ancestor money lineage. And this particular note is the Sahu Sekhmet edition. Here, you will also see the image of Jehuti, or Lord Thoth, and this is 333 quinquintillion pounds, which is a very, very large number. It is so large that it takes up 3 rows on the bottom of this particular denomination. When you utilize a denomination such as this is a very unique and distinct, one of the world's finest and only versions of this note. It helps to repair ancestral chaos within the lineages. What exactly does that mean? There are many people on the planet who are a byproduct of incest, a byproduct of rape. They are a byproduct of coming into this reality. Therefore, their very existence disturbs the lineages that are in opposition to the action that forced their existence to be onto this planet. When we utilize this particular note, we are sending the energy of this note directly into where the conflict within the lineages happen to be. When there is an ancestral lineage chaos, it creates a financial conflict in the life of the one who has been born through this particular arrangement. So the consistent use of this over time will liberate the soul from the opposition of the financial challenges that sometimes it has had for its entire life. This is a fairly large note. And this note is the Crossroad Interchange Afterworld note. And if you look at the god Lord Brahma, who is a very powerful Vedic god, you will see release the withheld. It is a belief of Galighticus that everyone has blessings that are over their head, and they exist in the form of unutilized potential, unmanifest blessings. When you utilize this particular note, because it is so large, it goes directly to the gods who are on this particular note. So when you look here, you see the goddess Pombajira, which is the actual divine consort of the god Eshu or Exu. And Exu also is the Orisha that is on the crossway expanse of the afterworld. He creates the condition of opening up the way for the ancestors, and he creates brand new opportunities in the lives of the living as well as the dead. Also, when we look at the number of finances that is on this particular note, it is quite staggering. If you look, it is a number called Gugalthra deciplexitrus. This number is so large that it would take me 5 minutes to just set up the parameters of how big it is. So we didn't have enough space on this almost 2-foot note. It's quite staggering. But yet, your ancestors will be quite happy when they receive the energy of this note coming directly from you. It will get their attention in a very handsome way. This particular note is known as the Kubera note. Kubera is also a banker of the Bank of Heaven. He's a god that is so wealthy that he lends the energy of his wealth to other gods who sometimes borrow that wealth from him. What better to do but to tap into the wealth stream of his amazing possibilities? On this particular note, you also have a Kubera's cube. You have the insignia of the Jade Emperor himself. And if you turn the back, you will see that on this particular note also, you have the image of the Jade Emperor, Mahalakshmi, and Kubera himself. These are 3 very distinct and separately but powerful gods that control very, very individuated wealth streams all across the spectrum of existence. When you look at this note, this is a 44 vigintillion divine pound. It is a significantly large number that, again, most humans have no reason to utilize a number this big. But here at Galighticus, we believe in the impossible, in making the impossible possible. This particular note will get the attention of the ancestors because for the very first time, if ever at all, it is the first time that any one of their ascendants, some will say descendants, have sent them such a large endowment or a blessing. And this is something that will basically make them jump into your dreams and give you thanks and ask you to continue doing all that you are doing on their particular behalf. This is a great way to get the attention of even the gods. If you decide to give a blessing or a supplication of worship or ask any of the gods a favor, this will get their attention because there are lots of energies and 3 different divine beings on this particular note. This is the second to largest note. You can see how big it is. This particular note is known as the Gogolplex. And there is not enough space on this particular note to show you how big the power of this note is. However, when you look at the note, you will see that it has the energy of the Jade Emperor, Mazu, who is his divine consort. It also has the energy of Fortuna, Amitabha Buddha, Elegua, Anubis, Lord Balder, and Lord Thoth. There are many gods on this particular note who have signed off and given the permission for us to utilize the power of their existence and their might on this particular note. If you look on the note also, you will see serial numbers, watermarks, you will see sequence of power, words of power, and it is the world's only and finest, most powerful Gogolplex note. If you look on the back also, you will see a series of numbers. You will see the energy of Lord Balder, who is the son of Odin, and he is a Norse god of amazing power. And because he also was killed on Asgard, he does lots of work in the underworld and the human afterlife. This is the god Galagal. This is a very, very large note. And again, it would take me almost 10 minutes to explain how large this denomination is. So this is going to be a big, big job. And the energy of this particular note is ensouled by the god Lord Shiva. He is the destroyer of worlds. He also is the giver of blessings and life everlasting. With this particular note, if you turn it around, you will see the image of Lord Shiva And this particular note promotes ancestral liberation. Ancestral liberation is the action of all ancestors surrendering and exhausting their particular disturbances, deeds, and the depths that they have left here on the earthly plane have all been dissolved. The energy of this particular note goes and expands to hundreds of lineages within your relation. And it is a wonderful, powerful utility to use if you have a major action that you need the God to perform for you. You also can enlist thousands of ancestors by the consistent use of this particular note. I'd like to show you how to utilize it effectively. This note is extremely large, so what you would do is take the note and turn it towards the east, which is your right hand side. Then you will go from the top to the bottom and you will fold it. Remember, do not crease it, but you will fold it gently. You will also turn it to the east again. It is not important what side you do. For all of you practitioners of magic, you guys like to take very, very specific directions. This also will punctuate the energy of the end result in a more powerful manner. You can also take it and fold it from the top to the bottom one time. You want to do that evenly. And you don't want to crease it hard. You want to give it a very, very soft crease. You're going to turn it one more time. And you're going to fold it from the top to the bottom evenly. And you're going to give it a soft crease just like this. So now you're going to fold it backwards. You're going to hold it backwards on a tilt just like this. You're going to hold lighter to the bottom, allow it to catch on fire. The reason that we don't want to crease it hard is because we don't want the oxygen not to flow freely through the hardly creased Galighticus ancestor money. We want the oxygen to flow and to create a steady flame. So we will burn it here. When it begins to burn, you will place it in your fireproof receptacle and allow the flame to consume it totally. It is a very important principle for you to watch it burn all the way through. Because what is happening is the energy of the ancestral supplication and offering is also traveling through the gates of your eyes, which are indeed the window to the soul. You may also burn this denomination at graveyards. You may burn it for very specific events, ceremonies, misas, bembes, birthdays, and also death departure dates of your dearly beloved. It is best to burn one of these for 7 days straight if you really want to set up a resonance in the spiritual world of the afterlife and give your ancestors a beautiful goodbye tribute and also salute the days that they have lived on this particular earth. This is called the God Galagong. And if you look it up, it is a staggering number that will provide very, very handsome support to your ancestors. Why not? It is very important to understand that the ancestors of which you all have lots of power in and over your life. It is not a very well understood topic that is taught here in the West of just how important your ancestral offerings are. I'm going to give you a very brief example. If you go to the Galighticus Facebook group, you will see there, and also on Galighticus.com, we have a very, very wonderful array of testimonies that have come in from people all around the world who have utilized this amazing product of Galighticus Ancestor Money. They talk about quite specifically what it has done for them. There are people that have had dreams of their friends, loved ones, dearly departed, people who have committed suicide, people who have died in horrible accidents. Sometimes they actually come to an individual and the person won't say anything. The soul will just simply want to get the attention. What they will see is that you have the energy of knowledge, of knowing about something that can benefit them. If you continue to burn Galighticus Ancestor Money, you can complete something called Ancestral Lineage Liberation. What does that mean? It means that you have arrested all of the old debt from all of your ancestors from both lineages. What happens is it exhausts every single financial challenge that you have ever had. How do we know this? We know this because everyone has certain things that they want to bring into the material world. There are some people in the world that will never know what it is to be a millionaire or a billionaire. But when you give offerings to your ancestors on a considerable, consistent, diligent basis, it begins to make those things possible. It is not about how hard you work. It is about how often and how much you care about your ancestors that will determine your tomorrows and your financial future. I am Sri Master Gano Grills for Galighticus, and I hope that you will explore the world of unlimited possibilities and give a better consideration as to what the ancestors can do for you. But it's really about what you are willing and what you should be doing for your particular ancestors. You would not be here without their genes, without their talent, and without their existence. Why not give them a tribute? Why not keep the loving relationship with your grandfather, your parents, your grandmother, your cousins, your relations that you were related to by blood alive, by giving them a wonderful tribute that they will benefit from? I am Sri Master Gano Grills for Galighticus, and I thank you for watching.